From the FSU College of Law, I'm Alva Striplin.
And I'm Jeff Kahn.
Whether you're thinking about law school or are in law school and have no idea what's next or how you're going to get there, we're here to help.
From deciding what classes to sign up for as a 2L or hoping for that key internship that will lead to the next big thing, these students are
taking care of business. Today's guest is Keiana Wilkerson. Keiana, welcome to the show.
Hi, happy to be here.
Good. We're so glad you're here. I noticed you walked in with your coffee, so you're caffeined, you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm all geared up.
What was in the cup? I have to know first of all.
I recently got a Keurig, so I've just been popping into little K-cups and just kind of being my own barista.
Oh, so that wasn't really Starbucks. You
No.
saved a lot of money by making it at home first and pouring it in the cup.
It's the illusion of Starbucks.
I
have
love
the cup,
that.
I have the K-cup. I have some of the syrup. It's the illusion of Starbucks, and I've successfully recreated it. So
if you add up how much money you could spend at Starbucks when you really make it at home, you're saving yourself a ton. That's like a whole new outfit every month, right?
It's true. It's
totally true.
It's a lot of money.
It is. Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay, so share with us how you got here. I see from your resume you're from Jacksonville, and we talked a little bit about you kind of a non-traditional path, what I would consider, wonder how she got to law school with that background. So share a little bit about your high school experience and how you got here.
Yeah, so I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I went to a performing arts high school. There we had arts area specializations, so I kind of specialized in creative writing and visual arts. Everyone was telling me, you should be a poet, you should do this, that, or the other. But I was pretty adamant about going to law school even back then, and they looked at me crazy. They were like, what do you mean? It's like a waste of your talent. But no, definitely going through undergrad, I went to UM and then UF and now FSU, so it's my little tour to Florida. But I studied I studied business administration, and it was really interesting getting to see a lot of how things work. I wanted to do specialize in marketing and get like a marketing degree, but some of the credits didn't work out. So I just got my BA. But really coming to law school, I came to FSU because, of course, it's located in the capital. I mean, the connections, the people you meet, like you cannot pick a better location for law school, to be honest. But even coming here, like I noticed a lot of the non-traditional skills that I had from arts and performance spilling over. Like, for example, on moot court and trial team, I use like constantly what I learned from like spoken word and poetry performance to help enhance my performances while I'm doing oral arguments. So I don't know if I guess it is non-traditional, but everything's kind of meshed together seamlessly in kind of a way that's really made me realize that this is what I want to do and this is the path that I want to take.
I can completely see when you say that, how they mesh together. In moot court, you're performing. You are out there in front of people. They're asking you questions, and you don't know the questions before they ask them, correct? Does that make you nervous?
Not necessarily. I think in the beginning it did, but after after you rinse and repeat and you keep doing it, eventually you're like, okay, it's not going to be anything outlandish or something that I don't not know. It's always something that you do know, and it's about kind of, knowing what you know confidently, because everything kind of harkens back to that.
Yeah, and it's like anything else, practice makes perfect.
Of course,
right?
yes, of course.
Exactly. And do you have other lawyers in the family, or are you going to be the first?
I am the first,
Woo-hoo.
and currently the only, so it's just me, yeah.
So you came in, I mean, let me ask you this. Where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you see yourself on the litigation side? Do you see yourself on the transactional side? A little bit of both? I mean, in moot court, obviously, we normally think of as a litigation skill, and you have this wonderful background in the arts, which, again, you kind of think of in the litigation realm. But you, of course, have this wonderful business background, which you think of on the transactional side. So do you plan to, again, mesh and use both?
I'm not sure at this moment. So I know the summer associate position that I'm taking, I'm hoping to learn a little bit more if there's an area in transactional law that I particularly like. At this moment, I know I don't like revising contracts and redlining, so that's out of the question for me. But I gear a bit more towards litigation just because, like you mentioned, everything thus far has kind of pushed towards that path. But I'm still open to transactional law and just finding anything that I'm really interested in.
And this is, I think, again, kind of a misconception. So I'm pleased to hear you say it in the sense of we sometimes think that there's this very strong dichotomy between, well, business means redlining contracts and drafting contracts and sitting in a room and again, not performing maybe. Whereas litigation, I'm thinking of the criminal, I've watched Law and Order, and so that's the litigation side. And you're absolutely right that we have lots of business litigators out there, and they need to understand the business side, the transactional side to a degree, in order to effectively help their client. Because I was struck by what you said about you need to know what you know, and in a sense, you need to know what you don't know. And as a litigator, you've got to understand the underlying deals, or you can't effectively help your client in that arena. So I think it's a great opportunity. I think sometimes, again, students worry that or think if I'm interested in litigation, it means I can't be interested in business. And business doesn't equal transactional. Yeah, so I'm very pleased to hear. I think you'd be great at it, obviously. You've done so well with this. So well, let's ask then. What is you're only a 2L. You haven't had too many in the business classes yet. But what has stood out to you in the business law classes? What did you learn maybe that you didn't know, especially again with your business background? What do you think you learned that you probably necessarily won't ever use? We like to ask that question as well.
So definitely coming from a business background, I will say that in undergrad they give you like an overview of kind of what's going on. But I'm really happy that in the business law classes I've been taking, I really get to understand kind of the inner workings of everything. And business law, like, it's very, very interesting. I learn a lot about this kind of like, I don't know, it gets a bad rap, I feel. People are like, oh, that's boring. That's like numbers, blah, blah, blah. That's contracts. No, it's really about kind of like looking at the relationships between things. And there's so many different avenues that can take. Like, for example, corporations. It was very interesting to learn about fraud. Very interesting. So interesting that I took a seminar class where I'm writing a paper about kind of like how lawyers enforce kind of like contracts with employees and how that might be detrimental. And of course, I'm taking tax law, and it's been very interesting to see what the IRS can tax, which is, as I'm learning, a lot. So that's definitely going to be very helpful to me to know that they can tax everything. I don't know if there's anything that I've always been just kind of like hungry for knowledge, that in a sense, even if it's like an interesting tidbit, I'm like, oh, well, I might be able to use that later. That might come up. I will say, like, in some of my math classes, like the advanced math classes, I definitely can safely say I will not use much of my calculus classes, but definitely business law, I feel like all of it will definitely be instrumental in kind of understanding litigation or transactional law, or just reading contracts, understanding what's going on as I move forward. So I think all of it's been pretty helpful, to be honest.
I think that's a consensus with calculus. No one is going to use that. I don't know why I took it. Right?
I don't know why I did that.
Or graph a line. Who really needs to know that?
I'm never going to use that. I'm not an engineer.
I get it. I agree with you on that one.
I remember learning with Professor Khan, I just need to know how to calculate damages, and then I'm just perfectly good with that.
Yeah. Now tax, that's relevant. That hits us all.
Yes, the IRS. I'm learning a lot about them.
We were using some algebra in tax, too.
You were graphing lines in tax?
Not graphing lines, but we had some formulas where we had to figure out the optimal redemption amount. And so it's exciting as it sounds.
Who thinks this is boring? I heard you say students think this is boring. Who thinks that's boring?
It's just interesting.
We need them on the show.
It's fun.
Well, and I'm very pleased again, Keiana. I didn't know your background. I'm pleased to hear you say again you have this arts background, because I think sometimes again people think I need to be a poli-sci major, or I need to be a history major, and we've had a lot of music and arts, and they make great lawyers, because I think that they don't realize that a lot of that skill set again does come into the law, comes into how you help clients, and so it's nice to hear. And you've of course had great success here, so it's you've set a nice standard.
It's definitely like, I'm so sorry, like a lot of the creativity I feel like that you learn from those fields really help you, even in law school, issue spot, think about issues creatively and synthesize them. So I definitely think that, to echo what you just said, it definitely is.
Well, and that is, I will pitch the transactional side because, as you know, I was the transactional lawyer, and that is the
shameless tax plug.
Shameless plug.
Well, it's the creativity. That's the word you use, and I think again, sometimes people don't think the law is creative, but you're absolutely right that my job as a tax lawyer was to go from point A to point B, and the client didn't care how I did it, right? And it's like driving the car, but and so. You try to do it, and you can get creative and do the transaction in different ways as long as the client gets what they want in the end. And as a tax person, you can save them taxes. As a corporate person, you can make sure they're not in jail for fraud. And I think, again, people don't always see that creativity aspect. And I think that, I think when they do, the light bulb comes on. But it is what makes this job wonderful. Is it's not filing forms. It's not the same thing every day. It is. Yes. You get to use again the best lawyers are creative lawyers.
That's what. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. This is all about you. So if you have something to say, you say it.
Okay, that's what really attracted me to the legal field. To be honest, in the beginning, I was thinking of doing something with. I guess perhaps at most the business-related side, kind of like consumer behavior, marketing, to kind of use some of my creative writing and visual art skills to go into that field. But I realized there's so much to do in the law, so many paths, and every day is kind of like the same base rules, but different challenges, that it seems like it will never get boring. And that's something that's very important for me, is to not get bored with what I'm doing. So that's kind of what drew me to the legal profession, because there are so many possibilities once you get barred, once you get your JD, that it's just really a great field to be in. So
you said you were working or interning now, or had a summer. What are you doing?
So presently I'm a law clerk at an appellate firm.
Okay.
And I'm learning just a lot about the appeals process, doing a lot of research, just getting a lot of hands-on experience in, I guess, how court filings work, for example. Mm-hmm. So it's been very interesting to do that. I have a summer associateship coming up, and I have no idea what that will bring, but I'm really excited for it.
And what's that one going to be? Where is it going to be located?
It's going to be here in Tallahassee. Okay. So I'm working with Holland and Knight. I'm super excited.
Very
so that's
exciting.
The business side. So I'm hoping to just dive in and just see what's going on, and hopefully find like a little specialization area that I feel drawn to. But of course, if not, just kind of experience all I can that they'll be willing to teach me.
Well, they're one of the largest firms in Florida. If not, they're huge, and I think you'll get a vast amount of experience there.
I'm so excited, yeah.
So when you go in, you have no idea what they're going to ask you. Okay,
first,
I love it.
I'm telling you, first lawyer in the family. My mom and dad did not know what an LSAT was or a bar was. My dad was like, "So you're a L2 or an L1?" They have no idea what's going on, so we're all just really kind of going into this.
Love it. I love it. Awesome.
Do you have siblings?
I do.
What do they do?
He's a business guy too.
Oh, okay.
He's at UF for his business degree. I think he's doing like a master's now or something.
So that runs in the family, but maybe not necessarily the law.
No, I'm the lawyer one. Okay. He's going to be the business guy.
He's younger than you.
He's younger than me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the diverse background includes 3 different very well-known schools in Florida. So I have to ask this question. What the heck, man? Canes, Gators, Knowles. Who do you cheer for? Or do you just wait to see who wins and then you're like, yep, that's me?
It's really interesting. I will follow like most of their games, or I'll follow the season. And I honestly don't know. I have a split personality with that right now. Every now and then I'll see the Canes playing, and I left UM like in 2018. I'll be like, yeah, we're doing good. And I'm like, wait a second. Or, okay, no offense to FSU, but I still am relatively new here. And there was a lot of animus from UM and like UF, like, oh, FSU. So every now and then I'll be at an FSU game like, they. And I'm like, oh my God, no, that's me now. I'm they. So it's a lot of confusion for me as well. So.
Well, you're in the land of the Seminoles, so you may want to shift really quickly.
Trying my best.
That garnet, that orange needs to become garnet really quickly.
Oh, no. I don't wear my colors like that. No. And I do like the garnet and gold with FSU. The colors are cute. The color scheme is the best out of the 3.
And I see that you played an instrument.
That's kind of probably why I'm...
Do you still play?
I do. I play the piccolo and the flute. I was actually on the marching band for the UM marching band, so that's probably why I still feel a little bit more affiliation with them. I was at every football game. every basketball game. I know all of their fight songs. I can still play a lot of like my halftime shows and everything. So that might deal with my confusion a little bit too.
So what do you do for relaxation? Do you pick up the piccolo and treat your roommates to a little?
Everyone's told me that it's very loud, shrill, and annoying. So I don't think it's kind of the way that other people want to relax. My mom literally, when I'd be practicing, would be like, "It sounds good, but please stop." So I kind of just, I don't know, I still feel like I'm a kid at heart. So it's a little interesting being a young adult and trying to be a young working professional. I will still kind of watch my old cartoons, just kind of lay in bed, tuck in for some reading, the class readings for tomorrow. It really helps the time go by if you pretend like you're reading a story of the law. Like I did that for corporations. I was like, oh yes, today I will learn about the SEC. Oh, what a beautiful story. Oh, they got caught. Oh, what a happy ending. So yeah, I'll usually, I'm sorry, I'm weird. So I usually do that and then just like watch TV, play video games, just kind of, sometimes I still paint and draw, but I've been a little tired from school recently.
I was going to ask you about the video games too. I see that was I want to be when I grow up a video game beta test. So you're a video game girl. What do you like to play?
Sorry, yeah, I was just remembering. I feel like all of us, when we were like under 10, we were like, yes, if we could play video games forever for a living and get paid,
right?
That would be amazing.
I think a lot of people want that job. They hear the one so cool person out of a million that like actually makes money at it, and they're like, I could have done that.
Exactly. That's why I was like, it's a lot safer to go into a different field where I can probably be a lawyer, but maybe not be a video game beta tester. So I don't know. I really kind of just like role-playing games. So like I really kind of like games that really immerse you into kind of the role you're in. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. I'm a big Bethesda games fan, like Skyrim, Fallout. I love RPGs like that. I also play The Sims. Casual gaming. I send my little people to college when I don't feel like doing college. So
Nice.
that's kind of what I'm at now. Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, we're going to give you a quick pop quiz.
Oh,
this
boy.
is not difficult. These are easy answers, quick answers, and we'll see what you got. So, how do you take your coffee?
Cream and sugar.
Cream and sugar. Heavy on the cream and sugar, a little bit of coffee, or more coffee than cream and sugar? I mean, we had one person in here was like, hold the coffee, just give me the cream and
Hold
sugar.
the coffee. Is it even coffee at that point if you hold the coffee?
Probably not.
No, I actually need it to taste like coffee, but I need it to, I'm a baby, so I can't drink coffee black. Like I need it to be like a little bit sweet.
All right. Weirdest study habit.
Weirdest study habit?
I think we heard it.
I think we probably did.
Yeah, probably the fact that I try to read the cases like they're little stories, and I'm like, how interesting.
Yep.
I also will,
That's the first time I've ever heard anybody say that.
I try to put my friends on, but they're like, no, man, that's weird. That's weird. I'm like, no,
It
it's
works.
not. It helps.
It clearly worked for you.
Yeah, I think also in addition to that, kind of towards like outlining season, I get really hyper focused, and I can not to toot my own horn, but it's not healthy. I don't know why that's toot my own horn. This is kind of like exposing myself, but I can literally just like outline for hours straight.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of bad for me, but I guess I'm not dead yet, so I'm fine. You know,
Nope, you're alive and well.
Yes.
We can testify. And must have article of clothing for law school. What you go to?
This is going to be really boring, but I feel like you definitely need a jacket.
Oh man.
I'm so sorry.
3.
You're like 3 for 3.
For real? It's
Yes.
so instrumental. Like, we need it. I will just...
Like, you mean what kind of jacket are we
just
talking?
any jacket. So me personally, I get cold very fast. And when you come outside from Florida, of course, you're like, oh, it's a little hot. You know, I need it to be cool inside. But everyone in Florida loves cranking up the AC inside. So it's a drastic change between like hot, sweltering, and then like cold. And one day I went to work without my jacket, and I literally had to go home early because I was like sneezing and coughing.
This is true.
I don't know why. I'm literally like a child, but yeah. So definitely like a jacket. You have to keep your arms
slight
warm.
variation on the answer.
Slight variation.
Yeah, the other ones were leaning toward the blazer, like for interviews and
Oh,
stuff.
that's
but
cute.
I'm with you. I'm
a functional kind of girl.
I'm functional. I'm cold all the time. People blast the air conditioning.
Exactly.
I'm like an 85-year-old woman. I carry my sweater with me
too.
all the time.
I have an emergency jacket all the time.
Me too.
I'm just like, time to whip it out in cold.
I have like 3 in the back of my car.
I
I need a couple of different colors depending on what I'm wearing.
Yeah, I took it risky today. I will say I don't have an emergency jacket. I figured I have long sleeves. I should be okay, but everyone keep me in your thoughts and prayers because if I get cold,
Yep.
it's not going to end well.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm with you on that one. Well, Keiana, we enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us today, for giving us a little bit of your 2L time. We know it's valuable.
Yeah, thank you, Keiana. It was a wonderful visit. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun and interesting just to talk kind of and think about just kind of what I'm doing.
This podcast made possible by a generous donation from Jeff and Aggie Stoops.
Special thanks to FSU College of Law's Professor Sean Bairn for creating our theme music.